Now that we've got some basic styling in place, our browser matches the first mockup that's in your folder. So now it's time to go on to add the fun stuff, which is some background images. So this week is where things get fun, background images, and then we'll start moving things around on top of those images. Let's take a quick look at the images that we have available to us inside the StyleReview folder. Assets, images, and inside here are a large background image that we're going to be using on the whole page, and then a background for the H3 tags, which is a horizontal line with a little triangle at the end of it. A leaf image, which I think we'll put this, maybe put this on either the paragraphs or the lists. We'll see which. Here is a hover and then an orange arrow and then a regular red arrow for link hovering. So when you mouse over any of the links, we'll get the orange version. And this will be the version for any link that is in the page. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the biggest image, which is BG Blackcomb. And so here we are inside the index page. And I'm going to put it on the body. As you'll see as we progress through this class, I have more choices than the body in terms of large container type tags that could hold this background image. But for today, we're familiar with the body, and so we're going to put it on the body. And so the purpose of this section is to familiarize us with some of the background image properties, and I'm going to list them here. They all start with the word background. I'm putting them in a comment for now. They start with background, and then they are image, well, actually color, which I forgot about. We're not going to use color for this one, but color, image, repeat, attachment, and position. Now we also have size, which we can take a look at briefly as well. So this is what we're going to look at right now. There is one background, there's a background shortcut rule where you can list, you can just say background, as you can see it exists here, and then colon, and then start listing out all of the color and the image and the repeat and so forth. But for right now, I'm going to separate them into their individual properties so it will be more obvious which one is which. So this one is background image that I'm going to do, and it actually gets the background image on there. And for this one, I'm going to use URL. And brackets is helpfully asking us if we want to go into assets. Yes, yes, and let's grab that large Blackcomb image. Semicolon at the end of the line, as usual. This is about the only one where space does make a difference. So now I'm trying to remember exactly how it makes a difference. If you have a space in between the L and the parentheses, some browsers will not show your image. So this is just a little warning. Usually space doesn't matter anywhere in CSS or HTML, but this one place it seems to matter. Let's take a look in the browser. Refresh, and here we are. So I'm delighted that I can see the background image. I'm not delighted that I can see another copy of the background image to the right, and then, oh, more tiling. So it's tiling in both directions. This is not a huge problem. This is why we're learning all of these properties at once today. Let's head back to brackets. Well, we're gonna not worry about color for a moment. We'll get there in the next video. But I would like to control the repeat. I don't want it to repeat. Right now, it's the default, if you don't say anything, is that it repeats in both the X direction, which is horizontally, and the Y direction, which is vertically. But actually, I would like it to not repeat at all for this one. And thus, I will choose no repeat. Again, this is more memorizing. After a while, it becomes second nature. But up until that point, it's work. Refresh. And now that's turned off my repeat. So that's closer to what I wanted. Now, lots of things I still don't, I don't like the text is on top of the mountain, so it's hard to read. I really want to move it down, but let's just forget about that for a minute. It's also going off the edges of the page. I don't like that. But continuing on. So image repeat. Attachment is kind of a fun one. Let's try this. So attachment governs whether or not your image scrolls with your text or not. So just to give you an idea, if you don't say anything, it defaults to scroll. If you say fixed, it has this behavior: save, refresh. If I scroll, the image stays where it is. So that's what a fixed image looks like. Sometimes this is what you want. In fact, I'll show you an example. Oh, I have one right here in the tab. Look at that. Yes. So this is an example of fixed background images. The clouds are fixed. So as you scroll by, the clouds are semi-transparent, so you can kind of see the content through them, which is kind of a nice effect. This is Zen Garden number 177 if you're looking on the Zen Garden site. While we're thinking about background images, here's a background silhouette of a city. Look, it's happening here on the right-hand side also, and this page is quite long. But if you look carefully, you'll see that right here, where I'm mousing over, is where the background image starts repeating, right? This is a repeating image. It seamlessly tiles vertically, so this is repeating in the Y direction. So here's another copy of that background image again, and then here it comes again. So a nice use of a repeating background image that's repeating in the Y direction or vertically. Okay, back to our page here and our background thing. So I'm going to take the background fixed off because it's going to, well, actually maybe I'll leave it on for now. We'll work with it and work with the position a little bit. So background position. If you are looking at the hints and brackets, you can see there are some words in here. You can put words to specify where that background is going to be positioned on the element. So right now we're positioning it on the entire body. It is defaulting to the left top corner. And even though I think in English we would usually say the top left corner, I'm saying left top to remind you that, so this is the default. Whatever you put here, it's talking about the left to rightness of your background image. And whatever you put in the second position, it's talking about the up and down position of your image. So when you have words like left and top here, it doesn't matter the order you put them in, the background position will figure out what you mean. But this is just to remind you that if you put something else that's not a word here, like two numbers, the first number is the horizontal and the second number is the vertical. So if you just get in the habit of remembering that and listing out it in this order, it'll help you to remember that when you start using numbers. So here, if I would put zeros, px for pixels, px is actually optional in this case. If I put 0, 0, this is the same thing as saying left top. So if I save and then I refresh over here, it looks the same, right? So here's some other options that I have. If I want to center it horizontally, remember this is the horizontal number. So I could say center here. That would be fine. Save and refresh, bang. I can also say, interestingly, 50%, right? So that's half of the way across. Save and refresh, same effect. So 50% and center are the same thing. So we've seen that I can put a pixel number here and a percent number, and I could put words. Now say I just want to nudge it over a tiny bit. And let's say in the left to right direction, well, we'll leave it centered. In the up to down direction, say I'm more interested in something like, oh, it's almost right, but I just want it 100 pixels below where it was. Save, refresh, and it moves down. So you have some control over where your background image is placed. So this is now 100 pixels down from where it was, and it's 50% of the way across. So it's landing in the center. Okay, we'll play with this in a moment, a little bit more. For the moment, I think I'm going to leave this back at the top here and at the left. So I'll revert to my original, which was left and top. Today we'll be using the words a lot, the left, top, right, bottom, center, and so forth. Okay, so this is what it looks like at the left top area. In the next, so this is great, except for now I need to figure out how to move the text around on top of the background image. I can see how to move the background image around, but I don't see how I can say get all of this text down here off the mountains. In the next video, we'll take a look at this exact problem.